So when I started using it, I was at $50,000 in sales. And, ever since then, now I've just surpassed $500,000 in sales. So, and I want to really build one of the biggest Amazon businesses in Canada.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our webinar. We got Christopher Harb. He's a six-figure Amazon seller, over 200K in Amazon sales, and he's also an Amazon coach. And he started selling just about a year and a half ago, and he's grew his sales incredibly fast through RA and OA. He sells in the Canadian marketplace for international Amazon sellers who are interested in the Canadian marketplace, and he's tested different types of business models. He's also sells in multiple different categories, which is quite unique. And he helps people get ungated in toys, as well as finding virtual assistant. And his buy box win percentage is over 35%. We welcome Chris. We welcome Chris to the show.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
So we're going to be asking Chris, different types of questions about how he started his Amazon business. What does he do for sourcing against severe competition? And also, how has BQool helped his business? And, a lot of people are a little bit scared to start their Amazon business at this time right now. And, what tips does he have for us? So the first question I have for Chris is, Chris, why did you start your Amazon business? And how did you start your Amazon business to help us understand and help the audience understand where you're coming from?
Yeah, so in terms of why I started my Amazon business, it was always because I really wanted to do something more than just working my job. I wanted to do something outside and make my own money. And then I started with a private label. So my friend and I had fell onto this Amazon private labeling world where we started watching YouTube videos about how to buy products in China, for example, stick a label on them and try to sell them on Amazon in the US or in Canada. And we tried that. And unfortunately, it didn't really turn out so well. We didn't really sell that many units because our marketing strategy was really poor. So with the private label, there's a lot of marketing that goes into it. You have to convince people to buy your products versus the thousands of other listings that are on Amazon. So once we failed that, I didn't think to myself that, oh, it's Amazon that's the issue. I thought that maybe the strategy that we chose was the issue. So I just started looking at other methods of selling and I found online arbitrage. And I thought, okay, this doesn't involve any marketing. I think I could be good at this. It's simply buying products on one website and flipping them on Amazon. So that's what I've been doing since then.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like a lot of people, they start getting into the private label business, and there's a lot of advertising costs involved as well. And then you're competing against all these other ASINs, with the similar products. So it's really not easy. And you have to do, off Amazon marketing to drive traffic to your listing as well. And it's just a lot of investment for people just starting out. But what did you find that was most different between the private label and the online and retail arbitrage?
So yeah, that's where the biggest difference is. With private label, you need like $2,000 or $3,000 for marketing, like a marketing budget. Like you said, you have to have outside of Amazon as well, you have to advertise your product. Whereas with online arbitrage, literally, I've been doing this, like you said, for a bit over a year and a half, and I've spent $0 on advertising. You don't need to convince people to buy Lego products, for example, or to buy like big brand products. The marketing is already done for you. All you have to do is simply hop on an existing listing and just wait until you get your shares of the sales.
What was your learning curve like doing the online retail arbitrage? Like, how did you know this product is going to make money on Amazon?
So after I failed my private label venture with my friend, I really took it upon myself to not fail again, of course. So I started learning, like before I even put in any money into starting my online arbitrage business, I learned every single thing that I could take in. So I watched hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos, took notes as if I was in school. I was really learning the game and studying the game. And then once I felt that I was ready, once I knew everything that I would possibly need to, start and be successful, is when I started investing my money. And then with the softwares that we use, like Keepa is the most popular one. Once you know how to read the Keepa chart, you really know how to make the best decisions possible. So once I got comfortable with Keepa, I started buying products, and then my products started selling right away. I remember the first product I ever sold was a Toronto Raptors basketball. And I had purchased it from one website, sent it to Amazon, and on the very first day that my products were active, it sold. So right then and there, I knew that everything that I had taught myself was real. And so I just kept going and buying more products.
That's amazing. I've purchased a Jeremy Lin signed basketball when he was with the Toronto Raptors as well on Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what other kind of products does your business sell? Because you started selling like kind of sporting products. What other categories and what products do you sell?
Yeah. So I sell anything that I can get my hands on. So for me, the category doesn't really matter. I sell automotive products, I sell home and kitchen products, toys, sports and outdoors, tools and home products, outside products, really anything like that I can get my hands on that I have the right to sell on Amazon, I sell it. So for me, the category doesn't matter as much.
Has your business changed a little bit since when you first started? Because you first started, you were looking, online and you're finding different products. But what about now? Because now you're selling a lot more products than when you first started.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changed in some ways. I used to do all the prepping myself, for example. So I don't do the prepping anymore. I used to do all the sourcing myself. I don't do the sourcing myself anymore. I hired an assistant to help me with that. But in terms of the types of products or the method, I'm still doing the same thing. I still do online arbitrage. Here and there, I've started to dip my toes into like wholesale. So I have one or two wholesale products that I now have like an account with and that I'm trying to sell. And that's been going well as well. But online arbitrage is basically the same thing that I've been doing. I haven't been doing this for that long. Like it hasn't been 5 years. It's only been a year and a half. So I like this. I like online arbitrage. So I'll keep pushing it as far as I can. And then once I feel the need to start looking into wholesale a bit more, then I'll be doing that. But for now, I'm happy the way things are.
How much money did you need to start out with when doing the online arbitrage and retail arbitrage? Like, yeah, how much did you invest at the very start?
With online arbitrage, you really don't need a lot. You can start with as little as $600, like for the softwares, the supplies and everything. And then like, if you don't want to risk too much money on your first purchases in inventory, you don't have to. You can just test it out with a couple of hundreds of dollars. Me personally, I started with $900. And then as soon as I saw that it worked, like I told you, as soon as I saw that the basketball sold is when I started investing a bit more. Like I invested $5,000. And then I started adding as much money from my paychecks as I could because I saw that it was working. And with this, it's just a numbers game. It's an inventory game. So the more inventory you have, the more profits you'll make, the more sales you'll have. And so, yeah, as soon as you see that it works, you should just like put in as much money as possible.
I can't, not agree with you more because like you're looking to, get an ROI of a specific percentage. And it's a lot better than putting the bank, when this inflation is coming and there's no other place you're going to get a better return by flipping the product. What kind of ROIs, do you, when you're sourcing, like what are you looking for usually, like for the ROIs of the products?
So when I was started out, I think I was accepting a minimum of 15% ROI. And then as I started growing and growing, I got a bit more strict. But even now, it's not even that crazy. Like the minimum ROI I'd accept is 25, 30%. I'd say even sometimes 20%. It doesn't matter. If the product sells a lot and makes 20% ROI, I'm fine with that too, So I don't need like 100% ROI products. It doesn't really happen all that often. Obviously, when it does, I'll take it. But so 30%, I would say is a good average, 30 to 50%.
How are you able to manage to source and then price and also sell in so many different product categories?
So with online arbitrage, in terms of selling in different product categories, it really doesn't matter. Like you can sell in one category, just like you can sell in 10 different categories. There's no real issue with that. In terms of sourcing though, yeah, like I said, I eventually, when it got too much for me, because it takes so long to source and find products, that I hired my first assistant. So she is on tactile arbitrage for me right now. She does that. That's where I do my sourcing. And then for repricing, well, obviously I got BQool. I think it was 4 or 5 months into my business. I think I was at around $50,000 in sales when I started using BQool. And yeah, ever since then, I never looked back because it saves so much time for you. Like the repricer, you don't have to reprice your products 3 times per day anymore. It just does it. And I can't remember the last time that I changed my products, to be honest. It must have been like 2 months ago.
Well, that's incredible. When did you decide it was time to start using a repricer? Because you talk a little bit about BQool. Like, when did you decide that?
So I think I had around 80 different products, not at the same time. They weren't active at the same time, but I had sold around 80 different products on Amazon.
Right.
And then it just became too time consuming to always have to do it every single day to change the price of each product. When you have that many SKUs, it's simply not like doable. So I think when it became too repetitive of a task is when I started looking into repricers. And when I saw how cheap BQool was, like the only question that was left was $25 per month more valuable than my time? No, obviously not. So I would rather pay $25 per month to have a repricer work for me than to do it myself and waste all of that time.
What did you use before you used BQool?
Nothing. It was just manual repricing. So
Oh, it's for manual repricing. Yeah.
that's right. So I jumped straight into BQool. I heard a few YouTubers talk about it, and then I started using it and started making my own rules. And ever since then, yeah, I haven't found the need to change it.
My question is, before you use BQool, like what was your buy box? And then also after you start using BQool, like was there a difference in the buy box percentage?
Oh, for sure, for sure. You can notice it right away because when you do it manually, there are times if I don't change my price, then my buy box percentage will fall. But with the repricer, it just is always working for me. So I think I remember it being at like 5, 10% when I wasn't using a repricer. And then, like you said, it got up to the 20s, 30%. I even saw 40% or 45% once was the highest that I saw. So yeah, that was the difference.
And how has that increased your sales like month to month?
Well, so when I started using it, I was at $50,000 in sales. And, ever since then, now I've just surpassed $500,000 in sales. So, it's not all thanks to BQool, but obviously ever since then, I've been using BQool. So, yeah, it's been with me for over $450,000 in sales, I guess.
That's incredible. So you're able to continue to scale up with using BQool. How do you pick a rule? Like, what are some of the things you consider? Because I know you do some custom settings as well. How do you decide what rule to pick?
So I had to obviously test some out. I tested things out. Things weren't like working as much, so I had to always change them. Obviously, as an FBA seller, your main competition is other FBA sellers. So, I base my price upon other FBA sellers that have like similar ratings to me and things of that nature. So that's pretty much how I reprice my things. It's basically based on other FBA sellers. So I try to match them. I don't lower like my price compared to anyone. I just match the lowest FBA seller or the second highest FBA seller.
Okay, so you target the FBA sellers because you're doing FBA, and that totally makes sense because you don't need to compete with FBM or some because you're selling FBA, and then Amazon's doing the packing for you. And my question is like, right now, how many hours do you put in your business? How many hours should you put in at the very beginning, and what about now? Of course, I know you're scaling right now. You're at this point where you're scaling up.
It's weird to say because sometimes now, well, it's way different now than it was in the beginning. In the beginning, I tell everyone that, wants to learn how to do Amazon. I tell everyone to take it as serious as possible. I took it as another full-time job. So I was working as many hours as possible as I could on it. Like sometimes I would spend my whole days on it because that's how serious I was about it. I wanted to learn it as quick as possible and I wanted to grow as quick as possible. So in the beginning, yeah, I'd say 40 hours a week easily, if not more. And then gradually it would slow down. And now it's like, it's at my own pace. I haven't done anything the last 2 weeks because I've been busy recording my course. So sometimes I don't work at all. But typically on average, I would say right now I'm at 20 hours a week because I still have another job. But I'll be hopefully quitting that job soon and taking my hours full time and working more on my business, but I enjoy it as well. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm working 8 hours or something.
What you're saying is that, you have another job and then you're doing Amazon at the same time and you're very focused. I heard from another podcast you did is that you are just focused. And that's a really important character trait of an Amazon seller. What are some other important character traits you think, are very useful as an Amazon seller?
Oh, wow. I would say patience for sure. Patience is number one. Some people are trying to get it too quickly, and that's like the quickest way to get nothing done. So I think patience. I was always looking at my business ever since the start. I knew I wasn't gonna, like, my life wasn't gonna change in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. I always set out, like in my head, it was like 4 years minimum that I have to do this for, before I sort of look at what my results are and what I've achieved. But I was looking at this long term, like I wanted to leave my job behind and do something else for myself. And if I'm doing this for, let's say, the rest of my life or for as long as I can, then all my decisions on a day to day change. I'm not in as much of a hurry as other people are if they're trying to make it like and be rich right now, you know. If I'm looking at it in 10, 20 years, well, I don't have to rush anything. I can take my time with it. I don't have to scale too fast. I can scale at my own pace. And I think that's the balance that I was looking for, to not go too fast and not go too slow either.
That's great advice for many people, because a lot of people, they just want to get rich quick. Like everybody does, right? Why not? But you're talking about, pacing yourself. It's about getting a little better every day, getting 1% better and continue, and you're scaling up and scaling up. It's kind of like compound interest. And at some point, you're just going to scale up. Yeah. I understand that you also do a little bit of crypto, NFTs and stuff like that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. No, I definitely have some money invested in crypto right now. Everything's crashing, but I believe in that long term as well. Like me, I don't do anything short term. Everything that I do is with a long term mindset in mind. So I believe in Ethereum. I believe in Bitcoin. I do have a lot of money invested in that and some other like altcoins here and there. But yeah, that's like also another way I invest my money as well.
Okay, let's get back to topic, because that's something that's interesting.
Yeah.
If you were to give our audience, like somebody who's just trying to start today, maybe he's a college student, maybe he has a job he doesn't like, maybe he's a single mom, what advice would you get them for getting started?
Well, okay. So first of all, you have to like set intentions or set a goal or an objective in your mind. It has to be realistic. Of course, you can't expect to be rich in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen. So first of all, set expectations, set goals. And then really I found there's two ways to learn. You can either learn like I did on your own through trial and error and watching YouTube videos after YouTube videos. And not a lot of people are able to do that. Some people would rather pay someone to help them and mentor them and hold their hand until they're ready to sort of fly on their own. There's courses you can buy as well. But those are the main sort of ways of learning. There's no real other way. It's either through trial and error, by learning on yourself, on your own, or by paying someone to help you and to grow your business with you.
And from trial and error, you could be out $2,000-$3,000 easily, like the private label that you talked about. And so many people are doing that, especially, let's say the shipping prices in China just increased by 5 times over the pandemic area. So for the coaching, who should take this coaching service? Like, I know you offer the coaching service. Who should take this coaching service? What kind of people should be taking this?
So with the coaching service, I mean, obviously I'm based in Canada. The main focus is Canadians, but I've also taught a couple of US sellers. I've taught someone from Spain. So I do have sort of international students as well, because on Amazon, on different markets, there are obviously big differences, but let's say Canada versus the US. The main difference is how many items are on Amazon, how many people are in each market. That's where the main difference comes in. But the method is the same. So I teach people how to sell on Amazon using online arbitrage. And me personally, the YouTube videos that I watched to learn were people from the UK, people from the US, people from Canada, people from all over. So I learned from different marketplaces because the method is the same. So it doesn't really matter where like you're located or anything like that. It's just depending on which method you want to learn. If you want to learn online arbitrage, then my course will definitely be for you. I speak a lot about I speak a little bit about the US side and the UK, for example, and other markets. But mainly, of course, it is for Canadians.
I'm wondering, what could they expect from this course that you're offering, and this mentoring, this one-on-one coaching?
Yeah, so with the coaching, obviously it's different because I'm with the person for 3 months. So, they have access to me 24/7. I'm there with them to guide them through any problems, any issues they have. I let them know as well what products to buy, how many units to buy, if it's going to sell or not, things of that nature. Obviously, I put them away from bad products. So that's with the coaching business. But then with the course, there's no one-on-one. Obviously, it's like you buy the course and you watch the recorded videos that I'm currently doing right now. I'm in the process of recording them. And in this course, it's everything from A to Z that I had learned to get started. So it's like me putting every single YouTube video that's like in my mind into one place and showing you step by step, how to open your Seller Central account, Seller Central account tour, how to use tactile arbitrage to find your products, how to source manually as well, and things of that nature. So everything that you need to get started on selling on Amazon, how to ship your products to Amazon, how to win the buy box, really everything that you can need to start your business.
I love that. I love that, Chris, because you want to find a mentor that has done it before, who's still doing it. And then, so I think people who take the course that you're offering, they're learning from you, and you have good record success. It's still happening. It's current, updated. That's really incredible, especially for the Canadian market and also the US market as well. What's your future plan for your Amazon business?
So I think we touched a bit on it. I think I'll do online arbitrage for as long as I can. Sometimes I can see challenges with it, especially when it comes to spending your capital, because sometimes it gets hard to spend your capital. So if that gets too hard, like I said, I'm starting to look into wholesale. Wholesale is the next step for me. And then eventually, of course, maybe trying to sell in the US market. But I believe that the Canadian market is very underrated. It's a bit overlooked because we're so close to the US. I think a lot of people just want to jump immediately into the US. So I'm taking advantage of that opportunity, and I want to really build one of the biggest Amazon businesses in Canada, for sure. So that's my goal, really.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
Well, I think for me, the most important thing is mindset. At the end of the day, you can't start a business or any project, any goal that you have, you can't start it if your mindset isn't in a good place. If you're not able to handle failures, or if you're not able to handle literally a punch to the face every single day, then you're not going to be able to build a business. There's issues that arise every single day with any business. And you have to be able to take that and to keep going and to keep going and to keep going. So I think you should really learn how to develop your mindset first before starting any business. And with me, that's like what works for me. I just watch YouTube videos, like how to discipline myself, how to not stay motivated, but how to like stay disciplined and regimented, and how to create routines for yourself, and how to be a more optimistic and positive person as well. Because if you're negative, then your first sort of thing or anything that happens, you're going to want to quit immediately. But if you stay positive and focus on the solutions, then you'll stay in the game much longer than other people. So I think, the mindset has to be the first thing that you develop before starting any business.
So having the right mindset, and then doing the right habits, having the right routines as well. Is there one routine that you do that you find is very helpful for yourself that you like to share with our audience?
I didn't expect to share this, but I definitely can. I'm not that consistent with it, but I find that when I do it consistently, then obviously my days are much better. So I do have a morning routine. Obviously, I wake up, and the first thing that I do is, like, it may sound weird or cringy, but I smile. So I've practiced becoming more positive and just being more in control of your mood every day. So I meditate in the morning as well. Just a couple of minutes just to make sure that I'm ready to take on the day. That's pretty much it. Like, I jump also up and down, which sounds weird, but like just jumping as if you're on a trampoline just gets you going out of bed, and then makes you feel happy as well. So those are things that I do in the morning to get myself like ready for the day and just to be more positive, because like I said, I've had to train myself to be more positive. At default, I'm a bit more of a pessimist. So it's things that I'm training every single day. And these morning routines, especially meditating helps so much, I found. So that's one of my main tricks, is to just meditate, learn how to meditate.
Thanks, Chris, for sharing. It's really exciting. And I know that you're on just our entry-level repricer, but I know that for AI repricer, even better results. So we will invite you, and you can try it out and for a month and see how it works, and then we can maybe share with our audience again for even better results than you currently have, even better, which is already difficult.
Well, no, 100%. I'm definitely open to using the repricer there. It's always hard to change, methods because if things are going well, then why change something? But if you're saying that it could make the business better, then I'd definitely be willing to try it. So, yeah, thank you very much for having me. It was really like a pleasure, and I hope we can do this again soon.
And the pleasure is all mine, Chris. Yeah, we'll be in touch. Cheers.